Hello, everyone. So, welcome to another episode. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the way I think, right? And so, I'm going to be sharing some insight into how I think about having a scalable, transformational business that can help you as a practitioner. So, stay tuned. Welcome to our podcast, designed for psychologists, therapists, and counselors who want to take their business online and live a soul-nourished and profitable life without compromise. If you want to know the secrets used by practitioners just like you to navigate the global e-learning market successfully, then you're in the right place. I'm Dr Tilean, Chartered Psychologist, Business Mentor, and your host, and welcome to the Abundant Practitioner Podcast. Hello. So let's dive in. You know how I like to just dive in to the juice and give you the information that's going to help you. Okay. So for many of you, you know that I am a psychologist and a behavior change expert. And I've been operating in the global e-learning market for nearly 7 years. Right, which is a really long time, especially in the terms of how we're working. I know many people have started like moving online with the recent pandemic and like lockdowns and all of the stuff that have been going on in the past couple of years. And however, I was online long before that, right? And really what I wanted to talk about is what I have done in terms of creating something transformational and scalable online, and what my thinking is around that, right? And what things that I know that I'm pretty certain, right? Many practitioners aren't thinking in this way, which is why they find themselves stuck in a kind of one-to-one model where they're either approaching burnout or they're really like putting in a lot and getting very little, feeling less than nourished. Their family getting the dregs of their energy. They're feeling no sense of financial relief, even in terms of the amount of education and time and money that they've poured into becoming the practitioner they've become. And they start to think about, is there another way? Like, is there another way I could be creatively using the qualifications that I have to make impact and make a good income, right? Is there another way that it could be actually working with my clients that serves them at a higher level and serves me at a higher level? Because surely as a practitioner, if you are more soul nourished, your clients are getting a better outcome, right? And when people are doing back to back to back to back to back clients, and then the admin on top of that, and then dealing with the insurance providers and all of whatever comes about working in that way, right? It doesn't necessarily leave them feeling very soul nourished. Okay. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about, 3 things here today in terms of thinking. And one is the thinking around, how do I work with my clients in a way that is transformational? And how do I work with my clients in a way where I am soul nourished, and so I'm able to support and hold the space in a much more transformational way? And so it really is like every single element of our business here is about how are we serving our clients to the highest level. And that's in both sides of the business. The side of the business where I work as a practitioner and I support creatives to really rise up in their journey and with their mission in a more soul nourished way. And then the side of the business where I support practitioners to really rise up in a soul nourished way and start a business online that is scalable and is able to really see them having the life that they want, right? And the impact that they want and the contribution that they want. And it really comes down to, number one, how am I serving my clients in the highest level in terms of how do I make every element of my business transformational? It is transformational when somebody finds any of our content. If somebody lands on our Instagram page, they are going to start being uplifted by it. Our Facebook page, if somebody sees a class, a masterclass from me, there it's transformational. We are all about transformational marketing. Every element of our business is transformational, not just the program. And that's exactly what we teach practitioners to do in terms of shifting their way of working and marketing. So every element is transformational, right? Just whipping up a profile on Psychology Today, as much as it's really helpful for some of you, and not for some of you, right? It's not transformational marketing, right? And what we do here is we do transformational marketing. Everything that comes out of my mouth or you see from me is going to serve you in some sort of way. That's my intention and my hope anyway, right? And so it's like one of the thinking is, how do I ensure that I am marketing in a way that's transformational? I'm pricing in a way that's transformational. I'm creating a space that is also transformational, where there is community and people can see people that have gone ahead ahead of them and say, "Oh, that they're changing their life. So there's hope for me," right? Like that's transformational. Rather than one on one, they just come in with their own problem and their own challenge and where they are with their own narratives and whatever's going on. And it's a shift that has to take between that person and the practitioner, right? Which can be really helpful and useful. But when you're in a group setting, it's even more powerful than one on one, right? And I never used to understand that myself at first, because I was like, like surely if you work with one person, you can impact more change. But it's just not true. Like the more I've got such an inquisitive mind. I always have been. My mother told me that. My grandmother told me that. My dad tells me that, right? Like an inquisitive mind in terms of, is that really working? Like, is that really of the highest benefit to the client? Is that really creating change? Is that really of service? And if it's not, why are we doing it? And that's really how I came about having my business in this whole new way, which now is, it's like, really, if you're not operating in the online world right now, like, what are you doing? Right. But like, people are really understanding that people are actually seeking transformation, and they're seeking that in the global e-learning market. And there's just not enough practitioners out there in the global e-learning market that are willing to shift their work identity and work in a whole new way, right? And that is the number one thinking. It's about, are you okay with shifting your identity, the identity that you're built up to have, and the one that has kind of been prescribed by the system about how you should work and what you should charge and all of that stuff, to break it down and be like, this is what's going to serve me at a higher level. This is what's going to serve my clients at a higher level as well. This is what's going to give me an ability to give back and contribute to other causes and contribute and charities that I care about. This is what's going to give me enough more energy to serve for my overflow and give to my family. Let's do something different here right now, right? And work in a whole new way. And so number one, it is that shift in that thinking in how you are working right now. Is it serving you? How you're working right now, is it serving your clients at the higher, the best way that they could be served? How you are marketing right now, is it serving you, right? Dancing with a cat on TikTok is not serving anyone, right? It might feel fun or whatever. But like, there's transformational marketing that you can do. Yeah. Um, so really, like, start asking yourself those questions, and the power of the questions will give you an ability and insight to see, actually, do I want to do things different? Right? Do I want to do things different? And it's only by people in society that bring these questions to the world of like, how could we do something different, is why you see change exist, right? Do we have to operate in this way? Do we have to charge this amount? Do we have to wear that uniform? Do we have to, whatever it is, right? Do we have to have this legislation? Do we have, like, these questions illustrate change. So you have to ask yourself powerful questions to help you have change in your life as well. All right. You can say I'm passionate about this, okay? Right? But it's important. The number two thing of the way I think, right, that is serving me and is serving my business and is serving everything around me is that I look at data. I look at numbers. I actually love numbers. I'll let you into a little secret. I was one of the weirdos. I'm not going to call myself a weirdo, but I was one of the unique ones, right? That in psychology, we had to learn SPSS, and some of you might know SPSS is a programming thing which is all about numbers. Some of you know it, and I'm like, oh, don't say that word. It's like a swear word. Some of you might not have heard about it. But SPSS is like a data system, and I loved it. I was so intrigued by it, like the number. What are numbers showing us? Right, yeah. I'm like a number geek, yeah, and I love data, right? And I teach my clients how to love data. Not that you need to love data in terms of like what is the root squared of pi or whatever, you know what I mean? But how do you know the numbers that really matter for your business, right? Like, numbers matter because if you understand the numbers, if you understand the data, it means that you are less likely to make up stories in your head about things, right? Because you can just look at like the data. This is what the data shows, which means this is working or this isn't working, which means I can make a decision from a CEO mindset rather than like, oh, like, so that's one of the things. For example, let me give you an example, right? So let's say you create a transformational experience for your clients, and this transformational experience for your clients is maybe it could be 12 weeks if you want, it could be like 3 months. Let's just say that for an example. And that transformational experience you create, you have a price point for it of $2,000, all right, or it might be £2,000, wherever you are, right? And so that is the investment that is required for somebody to come into that transformational experience and go through the whole process to help shift them from where they are to where they want to be managing maybe their stress or anxiety in a different way, right? I'm just throwing like ideas out here. Yeah. So you have a transformational experience and you know how much somebody needs to invest to come into that transformational experience. That is a number, right? Many people know the number. Like you might know the number you charge per hour, or you might know the number that you receive when you get paid at the end of the month if you're in a job, right? Or you may know the number of like whatever it is, right? So that's a number. But knowing more than that, like often people just know one number and they don't know anything around it. How many people on average do you speak to? Do you have a consultation with before somebody enrolls, right? These are numbers you can work out even in traditional practice. Like on average, if I was to have 20 consultations in my private practice this month, I know roughly this many will become clients. Do you know that number? Right? It's the same in the business which I support our practitioners with, right? For example, if your transformational experience is now, and you know the number is $2,000, I'm just plucking numbers out here, right? Just for ease of maths. And you know that if I speak to 4 people, on average, one person is going to enroll, right? Because of that readiness to change and behavior change. Okay. So that means every time you speak to somebody for a consultation, on average, you're making 500. Do you get that? Like if it takes 4 people, out of 4 people, 1 is going to go through, right? Because of the behavior change model and how people work. Yeah. Right. So 1 out of 4. That means that if If one doesn't go through, that's 0, 0, 0, 2,000. Yeah. So that means out of those four, if you average that 2,000 over four, every time you have a consultation with someone, regardless of whether they buy or don't buy, on average, you're making about 500, right? Who had a mic drop moment here? You know what I mean? Because now you get to show up for your consultations different when you know that number, right? You don't even worried. You know what I mean? In terms of like, well, oh, I hope they buy. You don't have to have any of that salesy energy at all. You can just show up in service to people that come to you in a consultation, help them. And if feel that the right decision for you both is to move into a journey of a transformation, then you do so, right? And then you receive for doing so. So it means that really, regardless of whether somebody's buying at that moment and investing in their transformation, you're growing. You know what I mean? You're being paid, right? And so it's just know your numbers, and that's one example. But know your numbers in terms of what is the cost something is having on you not knowing, right? When you start thinking in terms of numbers, you can start to like understand things easier. How much is something costing me by not knowing? How much am I spending in terms of my time or my energy expenditure, or like feeling misaligned? Like, what is the cost of that? Everything has a cost. It might have a number to put to it, which is quantitative, or it might be something more qualitative that you attach to it. But everything, excuse me, has a cost. Okay, so really looking at things, and you'll find your whole life changes, right, when you start thinking of things in terms of how much time do I spend in the supermarket walking the aisles, and I don't particularly enjoy it, but we got to eat as a family, right? But like, how much time is that? What is that costing me? Well, that's costing me time I could be actually playing with my family, or it's costing me time where I could actually be doing some artwork, or it's costing me time for, but we've got to eat. Is there another creative way that we could do that where we're not spending so much time and we can have back our time to do other things? Maybe I'll do my shopping online. Maybe I'll have a meal subscription service, right? That might be a bit more than it would have going to the supermarket, but is it really? You got to get the petrol, you got to get your time, you got to get all your energy, right? All the bags, open up the bags, put in the bag, yeah. So, like, what is that task that is an essential well-being task to have food come to your home costing you? You start to look at your whole life differently when you start thinking in numbers and costs, and what it's costing you not knowing, what it costs you in doing something in a certain way that you've always done it, but just because someone else did it, right? And you didn't have an inquisitive mind to be like, now, like, is what I learned, does that make sense? Or am I just doing it because my mom done it and my grandma done it and my great 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 grandma done it, right? And I'm just kind of keeping the tradition, but times have changed, So really, like, look at those things. And then the third thing I want to talk about as well is decisions, and I kind of like alluded to that a bit, but like, when how do I want to live? What is the outcome I want to create for my life? How do I want to feel? Like, what am I passionate about? Who am I being called to serve first? Where has my life journey been leading me? Like, when you're able to like really lean into these questions, like in an inquisitive way, you're able to make decisions, right? And it's important. I think one of the things is that I make decisions in alignment with the outcome of what I want to create for my life. I'm very, 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 very clear on what I am creating in my life, right? How I want to feel in my life, what experiences I want my children to have, right? I'm really clear on that. And so the decisions I make in my life are aligned to the vision I'm creating in my life. And what I hear practitioners sometimes do, and people in general do, right? Not just limited to practitioners, but people, human beings, is they have a vision, but the actions and the decisions they're making is like not even in alignment with the vision they want to create. It's like ludicrous. But the mind plays tricks to make logical reasoning around why that decision that you've made that is not in alignment with where you're going makes perfect sense right now. I'm going to do another PhD. I'm going to do this course, another course, right now to become an even better practitioner, even though my vision is to build a business. How about learning about business? How about that? All right, like it's like, but the brain plays tricks on you to keep you safe, to keep you in that comfort zone, to protect you, right? And so it feels all nice and comfortable and cozy, like just going to do that another course to like really like excel yourself as a practitioner. And it's not that I'm anything against personal development. I love it. We are naturally all love it, so we're doing it anyway, right? But it's like, are you actually making decisions in alignment with the vision of what you want to create? Or are you just playing around, right? And so that is the other thing. It's been like, what decisions am I making? Are the decisions I'm making in alignment with the vision I'm creating? Are they moving me towards the vision I'm creating, or am I dancing around a bush, right? So really allowing yourself to lean into that. And so that's what I got for you today, guys, okay, on the Abundant Practitioner podcast. If you are going to lean more into being the identity of the abundant practitioner, tune into how you are showing up for yourself. How are you showing up for your clients? How are you showing up for your family, right? You want to be tuning into your numbers, understanding cost of situations and experiences, understanding the cost of not knowing, understanding when it's important to make life-changing investments that move you towards the life you want to create, rather than keeping you dancing around a bush of what you don't want to be dancing around anymore. Okay, so that's me. All right. But I will see you again for another episode next week, same time. And in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning into today's show. We drop a brand new episode each week, so do subscribe. And if you like what you heard and you're ready to pivot the way you work and discover a new way, then go to www.drtilean.com/explore and book an appointment to speak with our team. We'll hop on the phone with you for about 45 minutes and help you craft out a step-by-step strategy on how you can successfully make the pivot just like our clients have. I'm Dr. Tilean. Good luck and let's talk soon.